Good evening, everyone. Today we are here to discuss about interviews. Yes, we all are working. We all are studying for for. I think 50% of us might be having a dream, a goal of working in the organization. And if you want to enter into the organization, what do we need? What do we need? Interview skills. How to clear the interview. So there are a lot of things which we need to learn. When we listen to the word interview, it's a very small word, interview. What it means? Someone will ask question, we have to give the answers as per our knowledge, and if they'll find us suitable, they'll select us, or else they'll reject us. Is it so? This is the definition of interview. Do we say that this is the interview? Yes. So, students, I want all of you to write in the chat box as per you. What is the definition? What do you think? What is interview? And do we have different types of interviews? If yes, come on. Let's make the list of types of interview we have. So, for me, it can be information interview. For others, can I have the list of different types of interview? Yes, I'm waiting. For me, it is information interview. No. Okay. Okay. So our today's topic is we will be talking about different types of interviews. There are a lot of different types of interviews which are there while entering into the organization. For some organizations or for some businesses, it can just be one round of interview where they are just going to uh, talk to you about just going to gather information related to you, like what was your job role, what you did in this job, why you entered into this job. So some basic questions they are going to ask with you. Like what is the best thing you like about your work, or what kind of problems you have been dealing when you were working in the last organization. What kind of decisions do you make, what all factors you consider while making a decision. So this is the first type of interview, that is information interview. Then we have screening or telephonic interview, we have individual interview, we have small group of committee interview, we have the second or on-site interview, behavioral based interview, task oriented or testing interview, or stress interview. So these are the 8 types of interviews which we are going to discuss in today's session. So let's start with the first type of interview. Okay. Uh, Before we jump to the different types of interviews, anyone who can tell me about the first interview, that as soon as you receive a call, what is the first thing? What is the first question which usually all the interviewer ask you? What is that? What is this first question? Just tell me about that very first question, that as soon as you say hello, yeah, okay, hi, how are you? Yes, I'm looking for the job. I'm searching for the job. Okay, so we have this job opening, and you have applied for this job on naukri.com. We'll say yes. Then here comes the very first question. And what is that question? Who can tell me what's that question? The very first question you get when you get an interview call. Yes, that question is okay. Let's start. Tell us something about you. And there we go. As soon as we listen to this question, tell us something about you. You start saying, "Hello, my name is Sakshi, and I have completed my MBA. Okay, I have completed my MBA in finance. I have worked in XYZ company for 2 years. I am currently working with the ABC company. I'll be completing around 1.5 year, and I like to uh, travel around the world. My hobby includes reading. What is this? Is this the way you are just telling something about you? Just assume when a person comes outside your door, when he's selling something, or when you go to a shop, the person is selling something. How beautifully, how nicely that person describes that thing. Even if that thing doesn't have so many good features, but the person who is explaining is so attractive, so informative, that we think, yes, something is there in this product. Let's go and buy this. This happens. So exactly, this very first question comes when the person, the interviewer, just want you to sell yourself, to present yourself in a very attractive manner. He is not testing your knowledge, he is not testing your ability, he is not testing your experience, he is testing you as an individual. He is testing, like, if all of a sudden someone asks you about yourself, are you confident enough in telling about you? Are you confident enough in describing you? If not, if you cannot describe yourself, if you cannot present yourself attractively, how we are going to work for the organization, how we are going to sell the products of the organization, how we are going to demonstrate, how we are going to explain about the products of the organization, how we are going to do all those things if you cannot sell yourself, because no one in this world knows you better than yourself. And if you know yourself so better, still you cannot explain about you, if you, still you cannot present yourself, then how can you present something of which you are just reading out the details about that? So this very first question plays a very important role, and this is the basic question which is asked every time whenever you go for an interview, whatever kind of job you are searching, you're working in service industry, hospitality, you are just going to any small startup or big startup, you're working with the its, you're working as a chartered accountant, you're working in the bank, you're working as a manager, you're working as a team leader, you're working as a clerk, whatever position you are holding, this is the first question which everyone asks you, and you should be very well prepared about this. You should be such prepared, you should be prepared in such a way that even if 10 different persons ask you this question at 10 different times, you have the same way, same confidence, same content of presentation, because you as an identity don't change as per the person. You are constant, your description is going to be constant. Right. You can definitely add some things if you think that these things are missing, but you cannot change the entire description. If I am holding a phone, the work of the phone is to talk. That is one of the most important feature of this phone that I have to tell. And same way, some basic qualities, some basic things you have in you that you cannot change. You have to tell those things every time whenever an interviewer asks you about yourself. So, today's task is you will have to prepare about your introduction, who you are. Here, my question is very simple: who you are. Okay, you have to answer me that. You have to tell me something about yourself. You have to sell yourself to me. Okay, be ready with this question in the next class. Okay, now, let's discuss about different types of interview which we are going to study today. First, informational interview. What is informational interview? In an informational interview, the objective is to seek advice and learn more about a particular employer, sector, or job. Now, in this informational interview, when we get a call from someone, we'll ask to the employer that, okay, what is the job? What is the job description? which sector is this, what the job responsibilities, what job roles will be there in this job. So you'll be asking the employer about all these things. Where is the office? What is the working time? Do we have any flexibility in the job? And what all roles and responsibilities we will be having. So you will be asking about all these things during this informational interview, because in this interview you as an interviewee is just gathering all the information to prepare yourself for the next round of interview. This is just a interview where you want to gather information from the person who is calling you for the job opportunity. After listening to him, after listening to the company's profile, you're going to search on that. You will be searching like, okay, for this designation, what are the basic job roles and responsibilities? What knowledge I should have to go to give productivity, to be more productive, to give my best in this type of job. So this is basically the information you are gathering from the employer. This is the excellent way of networking and adding to your contacts. Okay, sometimes you get interview calls where that job profile is not suiting you, right? But still, asking these questions, you can make a bond, you can make a contact with that employer. You never know, in future there can be a vacancy, and instead of searching, instead of going here and there, that person, if you have made a good contact with that person can directly reach you if he has that vacancy suiting your job profile. So this is the basic very first interview, that is known as informational interview. This interview is basically to gather the information and to build excellent networking, excellent contacts. In this, you simply gain the knowledge. Okay, just understand, when you are going for the informational interview, you are simply gaining the knowledge about the job they are offering you. So in this, what all questions you can ask is, uh, what all responsibility what all responsibilities I'll be having, what will be my working hours, how my typical day is going to be, what authorities I'll be getting, and this is the work which I have done in my past. So will that experience is going to be very helpful for this kind of job description. So you are going to ask all these questions in the informational interview. Second, screening or telephonic interview. Prepare for it as it is an open book exam. You know why it's an open book exam? You should keep everything ready in written in front of you, because is a telephonic interview. No one is seeing you, no one is seeing your body language. Yes, definitely it is one of the drawback of telephonic interview, that the other person is not seeing your body language. He cannot analyze, he cannot assume anything with your body language, because whatever you are speaking, he just listen to that and he has to make his observation, he has to come to the conclusion with the words you have spoken. Make sure you have your CV, the job description, list of references, and prepared answer noted in front of you. When we are making CV, there are very small mistakes we make. We copy CV, we copy our career objective from somewhere, and above all, copy. Okay, you have copied. Okay, it's okay. You even don't try to read those things. You don't even try that if someone is going to ask question from that, what I'm going to answer. At times I personally will share my experience, that at times I have come with such resumes, such CVs, where the person forgot to edit the name of father and mother, different surnames for himself and for mother and father, because we didn't care to read that. We just copied everything, right? So when make sure the copy you are going through a proof study, the complete thorough study about your CV, whatever each and every word you have written in your CV, because the interviewer is just holding your CV in front of him. Whatever he is going to ask will be from that CV. If you have written, MS Office, he will ask you about that because he is seeing that in your CV. If you have not written that, he is not going to answer question you on that. If that is not required for the job description, job role, he will not ask you. But if you are writing that, make sure you're aware about that. You are ready with the answer, what you are going to say if something is asked related to MS Office. Okay, you are writing reading as your hobby. You should be ready with the answer what kind of novels you like to read, who is your favorite writer, your favorite author. You should be aware about all those things. You should have quick answer at that point of time. You cannot wait and you cannot search for the answers. So in telephonic interview, make sure you are ready with all these things. Job description is just ready in front of you. So when the interviewer is going to ask you about what all job duties, what all roles and responsibilities you can do, so you have the job description. You can see, okay, these are the requirement of the company. You can easily pick up some from them and you can tell them. So this is the plus point of having telephonic interview. If you are prepared with everything, note down everything. When we are preparing when we are preparing for the interview, we think that, okay, for this I'll answer this, for this I'll answer this, for this I'll answer this. But when actually the question starts, you forget that. So if you have the option to go for the open book exam, why you don't want to take that opportunity, grab that opportunity and crack the telephonic interview. This is one of the cost effective way, because here you don't have to travel, the other person don't have to bear any kind of expenses on setting up the atmosphere or setting up the interview room. Nothing is required, so it is very cost effective. For this interview, basically this interview lasts for maximum of 30 minutes, 10 to 30 minutes the interview is going to be there, because he's just going to ask you about some normal questions related to job description. Here he is not going to test your educational qualification, your technical knowledge. He is not going to check on those things. In this a large part, everything is just communication. The part of communication is just orally. We cannot see the body language. So it is very critical to have that positive and sharp answer delivered with enthusiasm. Why it becomes difficult? Because it's only your voice which is going to present your tone of voice, the use of intonation, stress, whatever you're using, that is going to make your answer more attractive. But when it is in physical form, they can just read a body language, they can see whether we are enthusiasm. Because if you are lying on something, your body language, your body is just going to react in other way. Your words are not going to match your body language. So there they can just identify whether you are confident enough or not. In telephonic interview, it's just your words which is going to make you confident, which is going to make you sound energetic, which is going to tell the other person that you have a positive mindset. Because here the person cannot see. So obviously it is one of the drawback. And so you have to work on way of speaking, you have to work on your speech, your sound, your pronunciations, your stressing on words. So that is one of the most important thing you need to work on when you're going for the telephonic interview. You have to show your interest by what you are speaking. So, if the interview is something related to a creative thing, designing part, so you have to showcase that thing with your words. Because if someone is going to give me to design a pamphlet, I can design it this way. I can add these type of things. I can make small, big like very small circles, or I'm going to design it in a way where I can write maximum knowledge, maximum information in very less words, or I can display it with the use of signs, symbols instead of writing the words. So you have to speak that way. Okay, so this is the second way of second type of interview, that is telephonic or screening interview. Next is individual interview, referred to as personal interview. It is one-to-one interview. You need to find out the approximate length of the interview in order to prepare. This individual interview can last up to 4 to 5 or 6 hours. Yes, depending upon the type of interview it is being designed. So you need to know that thing. What happens? We just get ready, we enter the interview room, and it's 2 hours, 3 hours, and we start becoming restless. Like, how long it is going to take? So instead of doing that thing, just be prepared. When you are being called for the interview, ask them, okay, the interview will start at 10, so tentatively till what time the interview is going to continue. So they are going to say it will be continuing till 4. So you will be prepared. You won't become restless, like, for how long I need to wait, what I need to do now, what I'm going to do, shall I go back home? These kind of questions, these things are not going to come in your mind, because you are already prepared that the interview is going to be up to 6 hours. So, in individual interview, this is the most common type of interview and is usually taken face to face at company's office. Like, this interview, we don't have on, like, before the pandemic. Now it's pandemic. So there are chances that they're going for Zoom call for the face to face interview. But earlier, when everything was normal, before the pandemic, these types of interview takes place at the office only. People have to go to office, and there their interview process starts. The range for this interview is usually 30 to 90 minutes, but depending upon the position, depending upon the job description, depending upon the knowledge required, it can last up to 6 to 7 hours also. But you need to ask them, and at many time the company informs you prior that the interview is going to start at 10 and it will last till 4. Shorten interview will mean delivering concise answer that are to the point. Now, see, there are a lot of people who have come for the interview, so they have to take a lot of interview in one day. So they have limited time given to each and every candidate. You need to understand that if time is less, give how you can present yourself by just giving a concise answer, by just providing short information which is carrying everything about you. Now, here, when I talk about concise answer, that doesn't mean that you are skipping the important point. This simply means you are organizing your answer in such a way that it is a summary of whatever you want to say. So it should be a concise answer, seeing the time. Longer interview allows you to give more time to go into detail and support your answer with examples. Now, if you have, say, you have 5 to 6 hours, interview is going on, and if we talk about managerial round, in managerial round you have been given 30 minutes. 30 minutes is quite a long time. You have enough time to tell you about, to brief you about each and everything. Whenever you talk that I have done this in this company, you can support your answer with the example. You have time to give example. But if it's shorter duration, there you don't have any scope to present your answer, to support your answer with an example. So you should be ready, you should be prepared with both the things. You should be prepared for longer duration of interview, and if the interview is short, how to make your answer concise. So both the things you should know if you are going for the individual and face to face interview. Now, in shorter span of time, if the interview is very short, Always make sure when you are saying bye bye, when the interviewer say it's all done, you're good to end, just take 30 minutes, last 30 minutes, and brief him about yourself. Tell those specific points about you, your qualities, which will be lasting in his mind, because that is the last part of the interview session which happens. So, what you say in the beginning, how you enter the room, and how you exit the room, that is going to make a huge impact on your selection. So, make sure both the time you are entering confidently and when you are exiting, you are creating a good impact on the mind of the interviewer, and then you are coming out of the room. So, that 30 seconds, the last 30 seconds, plays a very important role in your selection process. Any questions related to these three types of question till now? Okay. Any questions you have, then you can just write it in the chat box. Okay. Okay. If no questions, we can go ahead with the fourth type of interview. Small group or committee interview. Meeting a panel of decision maker at once. Now what happens? Now a group of people, maybe 3 to 4 people, they all sit together and they are taking your interview. And now, you have lot of interviewers, more than one interview. It's a very challenging task. When we go for the interview, facing one person, one interviewer is itself a challenge. Now you will have a group of people sitting in front of you. Here, what you can do is, when you look at the interviewer panel, there will be one person, definitely one person will be there who will be very smiling, seeing whom you'll gain a lot of confidence. So whenever a question strikes you, just look at that person, you'll gain the confidence. But make sure when you're answering, you are addressing each and every person, you are making eye contact with each and every person, you are just not looking at one single person when you are answering. This is one of the basic requirement when you are facing a group interview. When a panel of experts, when a panel of interviewers are sitting in front of you, you need to maintain eye contact with each and every person who is sitting right in front of you. So, more than one interview means efficiency and an opportunity for different opinions on the same answer. This is the plus point. When different people sit together, everyone's opinion is different. So, if they give you a kind of case, if you give them a case study, the way you are coming up with the answer is going to be different, right? The panel, they'll have some other answers running in their mind. You'll have some other answer which you'll be telling. But out of that panel, someone will be there to support your answer. Someone will be saying, yes, good way of dealing, good opinion. So you have to find out that person whose view, whose thinking matches with you. And this is the plus point. Now, in one person, when one person is taking the interview, if you don't like, it's just a red mark on your resume. But when in a group of interviewer, when they are sitting, collectively opinion of all the interviewer is going to be collected, and then they will come up with the final decision. So it is again a very good benefit of having a group of interviewer, a panel, a small group of people, a panel of interviewer sitting in front of you. Okay, here what happens is, there might be chances that two or three per person, like two persons, give you two questions altogether. Here they will be checking your ability, how you're dealing with the answers. So have patience, select one question, address the person who asked you the question, and answer that, then go for the second question, then address the second person. Okay, so you should learn how to be a good listener first and then presenting your answer. It is also worth trying to find out the names and roles of those on the panel. You should always be aware. Just try to find out who all will be sitting in front of you in the panel. What is their designation? What is Try to know whatever you can know about those panels. So it will be very helpful for you in answering, in preparing your answer. Like if all of them are sitting from the expert team, from the technical team, and you're going for the technical interview, your answers should be technically good. But if someone is there who is a creative mind, who like to do things in a creative way, who like to try out new things, there you can come up with your new innovative ideas, new innovative solutions. If you think that from the panel a person is sitting with a creative mind, so always make sure you are aware about the group of interviewers sitting in front of you. Now, it can be daunting. Now, here, daunting means it can be difficult to deal with so many people, like two, three interviewers sitting in front of you. It can be even intimidating. It can be even like threatening. It can have threatening effect on you. But this will only happen if you are not well prepared. If you are well prepared, then no matter two, three, four, five, how many people sit in front of you takes your interview, it is hardly going to affect you if you are well prepared. So make sure you are always well prepared when you are entering into the interview room. Try to build a rapport with each member. Don't focus on just one member. Try to build a good rapport with each and every member of the panel, and make sure you are making eye contact with everyone, not just the person who's asking you the question. Because the questions which they are asking, they all have decided it together that who is going to ask what type of question. So everyone wants to know the answer. It's not just the person who's asking you the question wants to know the answer. So make sure when you are answering, you are looking at each and every person sitting in the panel and making a good eye contact with all of them. So it's in the small group or committee interview. Now, the second or on-site interview. These type of interviews can be longer, some lasting half or a full day. Now here they have different rounds of interview, because the first interview will be just knowing about you, your knowledge. Second can be a written paper. Third can be a technical round. Then can be a discussion with the manager, and then goes to the final round where the discussion is there with the HR. So there can be 3 to 5 rounds, and you'll be meeting different people with different designations. So you should be prepared with how to answer in front of which people. If you are meeting a manager, so manager is somewhere looking into you, the good resource for the company. He's looking a person who can be a good resource, who can bring good profit, who can achieve the goal of the company. So present yourself in that way. So these they often mean meeting with 3 to 5 people. Most importantly, be on the ball and show enthusiasm. You entered very confidently, you have very enthusiasm, you have a lot of energy, but till the time you reach the last person, till the time you meet the fifth person or maybe the third person, you are so dull, so low, that the interviewers start feeling sleepy seeing you. Don't make that thing happen. It's just for a day. When you'll be working into the organization, you'll be working from 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 7. Until that time, the manager wants you to be full of energy. And if in the interview you cannot show that energy, he'll think how you're going to work for so long. If you cannot keep up your energy for just 5 to 6 hours, how you are going to keep your energy for entire 9 hours, and how the next day you are going to come up with new energy, new smile, enthusiasm. So make sure you are always on the ball, you are always ready to rock and show your enthusiasm. Try to find out the agenda of the day. So it will be very helpful if you know how and what all rounds will be there, the name of the rounds, who all will be taking the rounds. So try to know the agenda with the person who is fixing your appointment. Next, this is usually the last stage before an offer of employment is made. Yes, if you clear this round, that means you are coming with flying colors, you're coming out with lovely smile and you are just flying in the sky, because this is the last round which says if you have cleared, then it's a bingo, you have your offer letter right in your hand. So make sure you rock in this interview. You are not allowed to feel low when you are going for a day long interview. I know it's a long interview. You may feel tired, but you cannot show the tiredness. Have those energy boosters, have something to eat, have something to drink, take a break in between. If you think that day long is a very long time, you will get a break. Feel energized, energize yourself, do something which will again make you feel very confident, which will again bring that energy in you. So make sure till the last time, till the last round, you are full of energy. So this interview only happens when you have successfully cleared the first round of interview and now they would like to know more about you. They'd like to uh, they will you'll have to face the interview with the HR, the line manager, the office staff, the head of the department. So all these different people will be taking your interviews. Now, this will make you feel very anxious about the whole process. Like you'll feel, oh my God, so many interviews. It's a very long day. Who will ask what thing? I'm not prepared. What should I say? How I'm going to represent myself? Relax. You are already prepared. Now, just answer confidently. Here, what matters is confidence. Now, if you are having the interview with the HR, you should be very firm that what you want, what type of work environment you want. Ask them about those policies, ask them about the company's policy, ask them what they are going to offer. Are you ready to go with that offer, or there is a scope for negotiation? Ask them like what are the benefits will be offering. So each person, each department will have different set of questions which you have to ask and which the other person will be asking. So be prepared with that, and you can only be prepared with those questions when you know the agenda of the day. So you should always be planned, be prepared, and you should always have in hand the agenda for the meeting, the agenda for your interview, so that everything, all the questions you have in your hand and you are ready to answer that. Okay. So other three types of interview we are going to cover in the next class. Now, if you have any doubts related to the interview, for five interview type of interview which we have covered today, feel free to write and ask in the chat box. Okay. Prakriti, you have asked something about qualifications. Can you please explain what is that? Like, what do you want to know with that qualification when you're talking about the qualification? Yes, Prakriti, if you can explain, then it will be helpful for me to answer your question. Yes. Okay. If you are there, Prakriti, please write. Like what they exactly expecting for a particular job that they want. Yes. So obviously, Prakriti, when we are going for the interview, if we are going for the role as in we are going for IT work, right? So they'll be expecting our qualification should meet that thing. If you are going for school coordinator, then our qualification should match. Where we'll have to deal with lot of teachers. We have to manage the curriculum. We have to manage. We have to talk with the parents. So as per the job details, as per the job description, you should be ready with the answers. Yes, that basic qualification you should have. What they'll be expecting to be in you, to be with you when you are coming for that specific job role. So those qualifications you should have. Okay. Welcome, Prakriti. Anyone else having any doubt? Okay. Okay. If no one is having any doubt, we are good to wind up the session. So, in today's session, we have talked about five different types of interview, that is the information interview, screening or telephonic interview, individual interview, small group or committee interview, and the second or on-site interview. Now, in the coming session, that next session, we'll be talking about three more types of interview, and out of that, one interview is definitely very, very important, and we should be prepared for that. That is the stress interview. What is that? We are going to discuss in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Take care.